Hi guys, I wanted to make another update video to just show you how the kit's looking and the progress that I've made over the last few months. Also wanted to let you know that the replication work is taking longer than expected because of how complicated it is to replicate the physics simulations. So what I'm thinking I might do is release a single player version this month and then continue working on it and then release a multiplayer version early next year. Otherwise, you guys are going to have to wait even longer. So this might work out better, but I'll do a poll on the Discord and you guys can let me know what you think is the best option. So I'll quickly show you the features. I've gone through some of these already in a previous video, so I'll run through them very quickly now so you can see kind of an overview of how the kit's looking and what sort of interactions there are. So almost everything is physics based now, so when you're loading the magazine you get a nice physical force that pushes it in, and that feels quite nice because it sort of moves the gun, and then you can grab it and you can remove the mag like that. That all feels quite nice. And you've got the hand guard, which is dynamic grip, so you can grab it anywhere along this position, and obviously got the finger physics as well, which feels really good. And when you're grabbing it with two hands it's a little bit sort of stiffer, whereas you move it with one and it will sort of sway around like that with the character movement, but you get a little bit more stability with two-handed grip, especially with recoil as well. And the charging handle, that's not physics based, just because I didn't think it really needed to be. You can set it up that way, take a little bit of work, but I thought it makes more sense to have it just as a component that has its world position updated, just so there's less of a performance hit, because you don't really get that much benefit out of having a physics setup for the charging handle. So yeah, got the recoil, but it's more controlled with two grips. And if you grab further down, it's even more controlled. I'll take this guy out. And I'll show you the quick release paddle because that's working better now. So originally it was sometimes the paddle was activating when you rotate because of the force of teleporting the gun, or even just flicking it around like that, the paddle was moving. But now the physics only updates when the hand is close enough. So if I load this magazine in now, hopefully this will work. So you can see it's retracted, and now it's gone back in. I can continue firing. So that's quite a nice way to reload quickly. And then I'll show you guys as well some of the get out the way, some of the objects over here. So this is all just one actor, but I've changed the public, the settings on the grab component, the public variables that can be adjusted within instances that are in the level. So this was just to demonstrate how much control you have over that component. So you don't have to make parent classes and then inherit from those. You can just use the grab component and then make the changes to that. So I'll show you all of these examples here, and this should help you when it comes to setting up different types of weapons and things. So this is just grab component, grab type set to snap, so it's not that useful really. There might be some examples, some sort of systems where you do want it to just snap, but there's no animation or anything, so yeah, that's not really that helpful. But the dummy hand setup is a lot better. So these are visible here, so you can see what's happening. So it's actually just using the transform of the dummy hand as the target for the IK system. So that works quite nicely. So the left grip is the primary hand on this one. So if I try and grab with the right, nothing happens. I have to grab left first. So there might be some weapons or interactables where you need it to be the left hand that grabs it, that picks it up first. And then this one is quite cool because this is what I was showing in some previous videos. So it's free grabbing. So there's collision boxes on each side, so I can grab it like this, and the free grabbing is even better now. For some reason it's not working on the left side. Let me check. Why isn't that working? I don't know why that's not working. I'll have to fix that. But it should work where I grab it on that side and I grab it there, but oh okay, it's working now for some reason. But yeah, the hands do drift apart, that is one of the issues, but there is a solution for that further down there somewhere. So this one doesn't use collision boxes, so any part of the mesh can be grabbed, which is quite nice. And the procedural physics gripping has been improved now, so there's less of a hitch, and it's a bit more reliable. So that's quite cool. And you've got different object shapes, so it can conform around spherical or cylindrical object types as well. Got this flashlight here. So even if I grab it a little bit awkwardly, it's not perfect. The thumb hasn't fully made contact. That's a little bit better. You've got all the fingers touching it now. And I mean, for this you could just use a dummy hand grip, but yeah, it's quite nice having it as like a free grabbing object. Especially for larger objects, it feels quite nice because you can grip them really easily. The problem with the dummy hand is it will snap to that orientation, so if you grab it upside down, like if I put it like this, and I can still grab it this orientation as well, which is nice. So this one is it's allowing the fingers to continue simulating physics, whereas on those ones it was sort of freezing the hand in place. So this is quite nice because it means that as you move, you get a little bit of a reaction on the fingers, so your grip can kind of slip off, which is quite cool. So you can get to here, and then the problem is though you do end up sometimes having a floating object. But like I said, further down there's a kind of solution to that. But you could customize it so that when the grips move far away, then the object's dropped, which would be quite nice because you can kind of have the fingers slipping off and then it gets to here and then it force drops the object. So this one is using the frozen grips, but it's just to demonstrate again that they can drift apart like that, which can be an issue. So this is using a different setting for the constraints, and this is a public variable in the grab component, and you can just use this on any object or any actor. And it's quite cool because now I try and move my hands apart, and there's a little bit of movement, but I'm moving my hands quite far apart because I'll let go of one hand. You'll see it snaps all the way over there. Do it with my left as well. So I am moving the hands apart, but you can see that there's much less movement. And then the cool combination of like all of these together is you have that one there, but also with the finger physics. So as you move the hands apart, you get that little bit of movement in the hands, but also the finger physics updates as well. So you can see it's a little bit subtle, but I'll get a bit closer with the camera. You can see that the fingers kind of update as the hand moves around. So this feels really, really natural. So it's quite responsive, but the hands don't slip off as easily. They won't just sort of slide off like they would with the previous example. So that's quite nice. And then, okay, onto the two-handed grab constraints. So this one is using the primary grip to drive the rotation. So if I rotate my left hand, you can see nothing really happens. I rotate my right hand, which is the primary pickup grip, and that drives the rotation of the object. So this is quite useful for if you have like swords or something where you need like a really, really precise swing. It actually does feel okay with the sledgehammer as well, but there are some problems with this one, like if you want to sort of drive it with your left rotation as well, then it maybe will feel weird not having any responsiveness and only with the right hand. With swords though, it does feel better having it right hand dominant, or primary hand dominant. Get rid of that, it's going to just distract me otherwise. Okay, and then so this one is both hands controlling the rotation. So I move my right hand like that, and I move my left hand, and can see my left hand is only moving now, and it is affecting the rotation, and then I move just my right hand and it affects it as well. So this feels quite good. Feels like both hands are equally controlling the weapon. And you got nice sound effects as well. And particle effects when it hits other metallic objects. And that's based on a velocity threshold, so once it whacks down hard enough it will generate sparks. And then I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. Go away. Okay, so this one is just using the two-handed gun aiming constraint settings for the two-handed grab constraint settings option, and this just allows the left hand to drive the Z and the Y location, and then the right hand controls the rotation and also controls the position of the gun. So you can have a look at the grab constraint settings, but this was what felt quite good. And also the left hand has got quite high strength values to help with recoil and stuff like that. Otherwise you can grab with two hands and the gun still bounces around a bit. So yeah, this feels really good for aiming. This is all physics based as well. All of this is physics based, just using different constraint settings. I thought I'd turn this off. Put that one over there. And then what are we looking at now? Okay, so this is just showing that look, you got the dummy hands, and the hands have to go to that location, but you can have it dynamic. So this is quite cool. Get rid of that one, so I don't have to look at the sphere. Go away. So you can grip anywhere, and that's quite nice. So you're not restricted with how you grab the weapon. This feels good because you can kind of grab it down here, and then maybe you think, oh, it's a bit awkward to swing it. Grab it there. But the problem is with the dummy hands is that it can change the orientation of the hand like that, because it's expecting it to grab like that. So having the free grabbing can sometimes be a better option, or you can have a mixture. So you can have like the primary hand as a dummy hand, and then you can have this one as like a free grabbing hand, so you can grip it in the opposite orientation and not be forced to use it like this, which can be a better option for weapons with handles. This is just showing the center of mass, so it's not really anything too exciting. It's just showing that this will pretty much always roll over onto this side because it's where the center of mass is. And that can be changed just by moving the grab component. So if you select the actor in the level and then you got the grab component, you can just position it where you want, and that's where the center of mass will be, because it's a scene component. This is just showing different weights, so 45 kilograms and then 120. The hand itself is a few kilograms to control issues with physics, so using real world weights won't work. You have to use something a little bit heavier, just because otherwise the hand has got more strength than it would normally have, because I tried using low values for mass and stuff, and it just wasn't really working properly, because the hand was just too light. So fast movements would create erratic physics movements, so I had to make the hand heavier, which means everything else in the world is a bit heavier. But with guns and stuff, it's not really an issue, because I am using the real world weight for these ARs, which is like 3 kilograms or something like that. But with heavier objects, yeah, you will want to use something like twice the real value. I mean, unless you guys are super jacked and you think you can pick up 120 kilograms with one hand. Maybe Brian Shaw has bought my kit and this is realistic for his hands. But yeah, you probably have to use something heavier. And with two hands, because it's physics based, it's a bit easier. I let go and it kind of droops down. So that's quite cool. It feels natural and realistic. And I can't even push that. I can kind of, my hand drags behind me like that, which is quite nice. It feels more realistic than that one, which I can just bitch slap out of the way. So yeah, that feels good. And then this is showing, this one's heavier. This one's like 15 kilograms or something. But because the center of mass is offset, it's like near the edge, near the end of the sledgehammer, it means that it will droop down like that because it's got gravity enabled as well. And this feels realistic, really. If you had a really heavy object, you would have to grab it with two hands, and then you can have a lot more control. But with one hand, it's kind of delayed because it's so heavy, and the center of mass is up there. But this one over here has gravity disabled. Oh, go away. Gonna move that. So this one here is the same weight, same settings, but gravity is disabled. So there still is that kind of delay, but it's a bit easier to swing it and you don't have it kind of drooping down. So if you want your character to manipulate super heavy objects without it affecting the hand and making the hand kind of go like that, then you can disable gravity and it will still affect other objects in the world, and it will still have gravity itself when you throw it. There is an issue at the moment with dropping weapons that I need to fix, but it was working the other day. But yeah, it will still have gravity and stuff. That one's working alright. So the gravity is just for the simulation when it's in the hand, just to make it easier. This one is just showing that you can have something that's grippable but not something you can pick up. So there's a dummy hand there, I can grab it. So you might maybe have something like a lever or an object where you want to slide something or manipulate something. So it's not grabbable, but it's grippable. So you can change that you can change the grab component settings so that can pick up is false, and then it will just grab it. You can have ones that are physical as well. So this one, you can grab it. If I can get to the collision, so now I'm grabbing it, and I need to change the constraint settings because I only want to have movement. I want to have like up, down, left, right, forward, backwards movement controlling this, but right now it's just only using the hand rotation, which is really weird. So I can twist my hand around and move it, but I move my hand up, down, left, right, forward, back, and it doesn't really do anything. So this is just something I need to fix, but yeah, you get the idea. You can have a physics object that is grippable, maybe a lever or something, and you can manipulate it. But yeah, right now this is just rotation, so I do need to fix this. But it's not a major issue. It's just something that I'll come back to. And this one is breakable, so this is quite cool. So it means that if you have breakable, why is it not working? Okay, just ignore that. But yeah, I'll show you that if I hit this against the surface here. Why isn't it working? This was working 10 minutes ago. I've probably fucked it up somewhere. Ah, there we go. I think after grabbing something down there, I needed to reset a setting on the hand constraint or something like that. Now it's working normally. So if I hit it against that surface, you'll see that it will break the constraint, which is quite cool. So if you have somebody or something hit your gun out of your hand, then you can force it to release with a physical force, which is cool. Makes it feel a little bit more realistic. And you can have the same thing with the distance as well. So if you grab something like this cube and it's really heavy, if I use a really light one, it will just kind of like teleport through. But a heavy object like this, and then I move my hand back, it can't stay attached, so it's vibrating now, and then it will release like that. And that's quite interesting because you can have objects that are reachable but not actually accessible. So I don't know if that's something you could have in a game where you could grab something through a window but you can't get it out, or you're in a jail cell and you grab the keys or a table or something. I don't know, it could be used for something interesting. I really want that cube, but I just can't get it. And then this is showing a super heavy object, so it will be easier to grab with 2 hands. It should actually be releasing. There we go. So if I run around with it, it's so heavy that I can't hold the grip because it's 300 kilograms. 2 hands, and I would have been able to support that. And then there's an example of a smashable object, and this doesn't always work. I'm going to have to really smash without breaking my monitor. Let me make some space. So I'll do a little bit of damage to get that physical reaction. There we go. That wasn't working last time, but that was nice. And it's very satisfying, smashing the beer bottles on the AI's heads. Also, the cool thing is that this does more damage because it's the bladed version of that. Try and grab this without smashing it. So if I go bonk, bonk, does about 3 health points off, but if I go, you see it does way more because it's a sharp object, which is quite nice. So it's more realistic, the damage system, and it's all based on, you know, the limbs and the mass of the physics body for that limb. So like chest and abdomen deal more damage than shoulders and parts of the legs. So that's quite nice. Yeah, that feels really good and very satisfying. And this one's just got debug and got mode enabled, so it means you can test stuff out and you don't have to constantly reload. Or for your game, that might be a feature or a cheat code or whatever you want to have. But yeah, I shoot him and it's not perfect with the slow running, but I've been experimenting with making the strength of the physical animation weaker and the animation a bit slower, more damage deals. Yeah, this doesn't look 100% correct, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to do. And then there's a chaos destruction example. This still needs some tweaking, but if I shoot it, it will kind of fly away, but you can hit it and it just falls apart. That's quite fun. And the guns have damage as well, so you can beat up the AIs just by hitting them like this. And that feels really good. Ooh, yeah, that's good fun. So yeah, that's how the kit is looking right now. Like I said, replication has been a bit of a nightmare to get working. So what I'm thinking is I release the kit in this current state where almost everything's working. There's just a few small things that I need to fix. And then next year I do the replication update. But I'll put some stuff on Discord about this, and you guys can tell me what you think. And yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.